Israel attacked Gaza because Israel can attack Gaza. That's the main explanation. It's not the first time. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the last time. And that's the language Israel is using more than any other language. There was this threat that the jihad is planning to attack Israelis in the southern part of Israel. I don't know how serious it is. It was. Maybe it was serious, maybe not. We have to be very suspicious when it comes to the official military information. Israel had arrested a few days before quite a high-rank leader of the jihad in Jenin. Israel knew that this will provoke the jihad in Gaza. They knew it at once. And then they realized that the best thing is to take this opportunity and to assassinate some of the leaders of the jihad. And now everything describes it as a huge victory, as a sensational achievement for Israel. And over 40 people lost their life, including 15 or 16 or how many children. And Israel didn't achieve anything. And Israelis are very happy with it. That's maybe the most terrible thing in this whole thing, that Israelis are not exposed at all to the views from Gaza. Our news programs are really totally clean of any hints to what we have done in Gaza. We are sticking to the same policy, which we know will fail again and again, namely those violent attacks one time after the other, knowing, everyone knows that it leads to nowhere. Nobody dares to try the alternative, the one and only alternative which can really be a game changer, namely lifting the siege and talking to Hamas, for God's sake. As I said in the beginning, Israel, unfortunately, knows only one language or is using only one language and is refusing even to try an alternative language, which is not violence.
If we want to rebuild and recover Gaza, we need to make sure that the siege, that the blockade comes to an end as soon as possible.
You know, for years I thought that this cannot last forever, that it will explode one day. But the Palestinians right now are so weak, so divided, so left alone, without anyone to protect them, but really no one. No one stands on their side right now actively. Europe and the United States lost interest. The Arab world is trying a new way with Israel, abandoning the Palestinians, and they're really left alone, bleeding, without any scenario in which things might change, because Israel will not change its policy from its own will. In this case, this status quo, which is not really a status quo, but this situation of apartheid, because once it's not temporary, then it's an apartheid. As long as it's temporary, you can call it occupation. But once it becomes a permanent regime, so it's an apartheid state. Nobody can deny this. So this apartheid can stay with us for many, many years. My worst vision is, or my worst example or precedent is the American natives. The Palestinians can find themselves in the same fate, forgotten, losing everything, being locked in all kinds of closed compounds with no heritage, no self-determination, no future, nothing. It might happen to them, I'm afraid to say. We are in one of the worst hours from their point of view.